Hey everyone, and welcome back to Studio 3B. Today I'm going to discuss why I left streaming television and went back to cable. After about 7 good years of being a quote-unquote cord cutter, I'm mildly proud to say I've returned to the cable bandwagon. Let's just say the reasons to ditch many of the streaming services were more than compelling. First of all, Fubo, our main cable streaming service up until now, was charging upwards of $90 a month, and they just got rid of some of our favorite channels we like to watch at the house. Also, some of the other channels we needed to subscribe to get the shows we wanted were seemingly endless. For example, we were paying several other subscriptions including Peacock, HBO Max, and Showtime, all of which had monthly billing terms. The thought was, if we were to cut all these streaming services and go back to normal old cable package, would that be more effective? That's eventually what we decided to try after looking at the Verizon FiOS TV services that are offered. They have several tiers, and we thought the mid-tier that they call More TV was the best combination of channels and price for our budget. Since after canceling some subscriptions, we figured we were going to be saving over $100 a month and decided that this package was justified. We ordered 2 set-top boxes which we learned run on Android OS and behave much like a Roku or Fire Stick. We also got the VMS box, which stands for Virtual Media Server, which comes with a DVR, and a Verizon FiOS router, which is required for Verizon FiOS TV service to work properly. We did end up keeping some of our streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime because these are cornerstones in our everyday viewing. The price of the new service is about the same as before, but the perks and benefits are several. Let me elaborate. First, we're getting back all of our favorite channels that were recently cut by Fubo. Second, we're consolidating billing, so for internet, TV, and phone, we pay just one bill. This makes budgeting and keeping track of expenses much easier. But the best part is that I didn't realize that the audio and video quality were going to be much better than basic streaming over the internet. I mean, even my wife couldn't stop commenting on how good the picture looked and the audio sounded. And that's saying something. Let me elaborate on the quality of the audio. Previously, to get streaming services, we needed to get our gigabit internet service to share bandwidth with everything else, including browsing devices, games, you name it. For cable, though, we get a dedicated optical cable that is purely meant for streaming television. This means the picture is more clear, the blacks are more dark, and the colors are richer. There is less interference from other equipment, leading to apparently less digital jitter, although I have not scientifically measured this. Maybe the higher bit rates are less compressed too, but I'm not positive. Now, getting the connection and install was a bit of a headache, as I had to trace down 3 short coax cables and a coax splitter. They also didn't send out a technician because this is a self-install service. They would probably charge me a little extra to send out a technician, so I decided to go the self-install route. I also needed to add their router to my pre-existing pfSense router and network. So the Verizon router is ahead of my pfSense router and the first thing in the network. I added pfSense to the DMZ on the Verizon router through the web interface, so all my other devices are behind that firewall. I port forwarded Rune and Plex to my existing router to keep all my services available online. So the router comes with its own strong Wi-Fi signal, but I decided that for the cleanest possible TV to use the Verizon Wi-Fi only for TV. So to connect the streamers, I connect to the FiOS router, but for all my other devices, I connect to my pre-existing TP-Link mesh system. Also, the streamers needed to connect to the proprietary Verizon router because it's hooked up to the VMS system, which is required for DVR and streaming services to work properly. One other thing I had to do was run a firmware update on my streaming boxes for Android OS. If you don't do this, the remote buttons and functionality did not work properly. It also fixed other things such as the Google Voice Assistant. Now you could say, open Netflix into the microphone and it'll do that for you. The one major headache I had was a technical one that I didn't realize right away. Using it with my surround sound system, I was getting great sound, but I eventually noticed that it was in stereo. I could not get the center and surround sound speakers to play anything over the HDMI cable through my Rotel RSP 1580. It did work by connecting the streaming box to the TV and using the optical audio connection, but that was very much a reduced quality solution. After hours on the phone with Verizon and escalated tech support, they couldn't solve it either. I decided I was going to buy an Apple TV and get the surround sound to work. But eventually I figured out that if I switched the input from HDMI to analog and back again, it reconnects the HDMI device and turns on the missing channels. But if I don't do this regularly, like virtually at the start of every movie, I'm stuck in stereo. Even though the stereo sounds great, it's not quite as immersive and it's not what I built the room for. Once again, I was happy with our move to cable since we have this workaround, even though it's pretty annoying that I have to even mess with it this much. Some of the other good things about FiOS TV is that the streamer not only has cable, but also an on-demand, including all the old purchases from my prior cable subscription days, and Movies Anywhere movies that also contain movies that I digitally redeemed from hard copy Blu-ray purchases. Also, it lets me install streaming apps like Netflix and Prime and even Plex through the Google Play Store. The Plex app, however, on this streamer is behaving weirdly. It transcodes 7.1 audio to Opus, which is a compressed audio format, but it does play 5.1 in direct play. This is another unsatisfying issue with my surround sound room. So to use Plex, I may have to use the Roku or just switch to 5.1. For now, my overall experience is very happy. However, as things look and sound better than ever before, in general. Since this streaming box just came on the market, I'm hoping future firmware updates will solve some of these surround sound issues. But at least I have some workarounds for now. In conclusion, I'm going to keep the cable service for now and say I'm a happy camper. But I also know that you can get FiOS TV on Apple TV and Fire Stick. I haven't yet tried these, but if you've tried the FiOS TV app on these devices, please comment below on your experience. Again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more audio and technology content.